Don't you agree this is also an example of the business regarding the question of good and evil? You people play with unknown forces, and thereby accept the death of your colleagues of your own kind, for they are dying for a greater cause, namely for the advancement of your technology, which as a result is being put into place once again for the purpose of war, that is, for negative pursuits. Now one can give you the benefit of the doubt that only the least number of your kind have any knowledge about these alien projects, which are, as you explain it, top secret. It was told to you that the higher the ordinal or ranking number of basic matter, the simpler the heightening of the condition. But that is only partially correct. If you can't circumvent these powers, then you're better off not attempting it. But your kind has always been ignorant, and has from time immemorial tried to play around with forces which you have not even understood. Why would that ever change? You remember this business of copper fusion by the means of the fluctuation at right angle with the induced radiation field? Copper is fused with other elements. The illusion of matter is fused. The fields in the sphere of influence overlap each other, but the main force would be reflected by that process and would assume a quasi-bipolar character. The resulting connection in the field would therefore not be stable in the normal condition of matter and unsuited for tasks. As a result, the entire field spectrum is shifted to a higher plasma-like condition, whereby the spectrum comes together with this harsh shifting to the opposite pole side. The word is not correct, of the force field, and it resembles quite closely a gravitational shift. This shifting causes a tilting of the repulsing quasi-bipolar force, which now no longer flows to the interior of the force field, but rather flows partly to the exterior of the field. Oh. The result is an interstratifying reflective force field, which is very difficult to modulate within certain technical boundaries in relation to its own characteristics. It can also carry out a multiplicity of tasks, as for example, causing massive flying objects to be levitated and maneuvered. It can also exert a camouflage function in the realm of electromagnetic radiation, as well as manipulate temporal sequences of events, indeed only to very limited extent, and other things as well. Are you familiar with your quantum tunnel effect? Even the amplitude equalizations among genuine matter can be achieved with one of those kinds of fields, if the frequency and the distance from the plane of the field are high enough. Unfortunately, the whole thing that I have explained to you in your words has come out rather primitive, I'm afraid. It sounds rather strange and certainly impossible for your comprehension, but perhaps this simple explanation can be of some use to you in helping you understand, but then again, maybe not. Question: is there a scientific substantiation for paranormal powers, as for example with your powers of thought? Answer: yes. In order to explain that, one has to acknowledge the physical reality of the sphere of influence, Feldraum. I'll try to do it. Wait just a second. You're going to have to separate yourself mentally from the illusion that that which you see is the true nature of the universe. It is, at best, the surface of a side. Oh. Imagine for yourself that all the matter here, you see this table, this pencil, this technical device, this paper, does not really exist, but that it is rather only the result of a field oscillation and a concentration of energy. Whoa. All matter, you see, every creature, every planet and star in this universe has an information energy equivalent in the sphere of influence, which is located on a main field, the general level of things. Now there is not only one level, but several. Last time I mentioned that highly developed species, which is capable of changing levels, which is something completely different from the simple bubble changing. For bubbles are part of each and every level. Do you understand? Dimensions, as you call them, are part of a solitary bubble. Bubbles, or universal foam, are a part of a level, and levels are layers in the sphere of influence, while the sphere of influence, acting in the capacity of single physical size, is essentially unending. It is composed of innumerable information energy layers and general levels. There are in the sphere of influence no null levels. All are the same, but they are separated by means of their energy conditions. I notice that I'm confusing you now. I think I ought to stop with this explanation. Question: no, please continue. How do concrete paranormal powers arise? Answer: well, okay then. Let's try something simpler. Again, it is not completely correct, but let me begin in this manner. Tangible matter on this side is mirrored in the sphere of influence, Feldraum, as a field with distinct layers. These layers contain information, as an example, about the simple structure of matter or the string frequency. But also there is stored information stemming from the development of matter. Are you familiar with the human concept of morphogenetic fields? One part of the layer could be designated as such. Now there is still another intermediary layer for which you unfortunately have no human concept, since the theory is not common in human thinking. Oh, wow. Let's call it a paralayer, for this layer is mainly responsible for everything which you call PSI and paranormal, and which lies outside the boundaries of your primitive science. This paralayer lies between the layers of matter and the morphogenic layers of a field in the sphere of influence. It can actively integrate with both. Your body, for example, is mirrored as a field in the sphere of influence, Feldraum. That doesn't mean that it does not also exist here as well as flesh, blood, and bones, in the form of matter, strings, or atoms, but not only that. Existence is always a duality. Some layers of the field contain simple information about the solid matter of your body and its frequency, while other layers contain information about your spirit, your consciousness, or speaking from a human religious point of view, your soul. Awareness or consciousness in this case is a simple energy matrix divided into different layers of your field in the sphere of influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Genuine awareness can also exist here on the matter side, but only in the form of post-plasma, the fifth form of matter. With the necessary physical knowledge and the corresponding technology, the consciousness awareness matrix, or soul, can also be separated from its field of rest. It can, despite its removal, continue to exist in a self-sufficient manner for a certain amount of time. That has the strange occult name of soul robbing. But above all, we're talking about science here, not about magic or dark forces. Comment by Oli K. The soul robbing was mentioned in one of the radical religiously motivated comments in connection with the reptilian species. But back to your question, creatures with more powerful mental powers can have a direct influence on the paralayer by means of their consciousness awareness fields. Now this layer is not limited only to the individual, but rather as a part of a general information layer. You could call it a prosaic sense, the community soul that is connected with all animate and inanimate matter, and all consciousness which exists on this main level.